It's Mabon, the Autumn Equinox. So let's get into a little bit of grounding kitchen magic. Welcome if this is your first time, or welcome back if this is not your first time. My name's Olivia, and here we do all things tarot, all things magic, and now we're getting into the culinary side of things, and we're introducing magical food properties and all the things. If you're not subscribed to my Patreon, you're probably just getting this sometime in a few weeks into September, but this is always posted first for my Patreon people. And if you want to get these videos first, feel free to subscribe. It is free. All of my videos posted on YouTube are always posted there first, and then they eventually make it over to YouTube. Anyway, Mabon, also known as the Autumn Equinox, is a time of balance, gratitude, and celebrating. This year, it falls on September 22nd. So later on in the video, you're going to decorate my altar with me. We're also going to dress some candles. We're going to get into magical properties of the herbs that I use. We're also going to do a grounding spell jar. And we're going to make a pumpkin spice smoothie that is super magical and super nutritious. So stay tuned for that. In conjunction with that, you can't see it on the screen, but I did pull some cards here. And you know what? We're gonna jump right in, and then we're gonna get into the rest of the video. So starting out with our oracle message, we have peace in reverse. Peace in reverse talks about putting yourself first. There's been a little bit of a rattle in your life where, or not really a rattle, I kind of like kept seeing like a shaky thing. So something's just a little bit off, maybe a little shaky. Maybe you have been rattled lately. The astrology has been a little bit out of the wazoo. We came out of a Mercury retrograde, and then now we're entering the Saturn in Pisces, and then we're in eclipse season, so it's a whole thing. So essentially, oh, my card fell. It's okay. Peace in reverse talks about getting to a place where actually you are getting grounded. I'm gonna actually get the card. One second. Okay, so we have the card. The reason I was gonna leave it because I was like, you know what, it's fine. Everybody saw the card, but I wanted now to kind of tap into the imagery because I'm gonna say something and it's gonna be very connecting to this entire theme. Essentially, when you're looking at this card, this person is on a swing. She's in the clouds. She's up in the air. She's serene. She's completely serene. Serene? She's tranquil. And there's a lot of peace here. Upside down doesn't mean that there's no peace at all. It's basically saying you have to get grounded and you have to put yourself first. Now, there's this thing where I get it. If you're a parent, for example, or any kind of caretaker, your day-to-day is taking care of others and doing things for others. This even goes to not only parents, but healers or people that do any line of work that is more on the selfless side and getting people where they need to be the best versions of themselves. And this includes being a parent and watching and taking care of and being responsible for a child that is growing into an adult. So all that being said, we as a collective tend to neglect ourselves. And in neglecting ourselves, it really is a detriment to us, but also the people around us. Because if you're not properly rested, if you're not being the best version of yourself, because you're constantly giving, and others are taking constantly, that goes through the line of exhaustion. And so I think the grounding spell that we're going to do, first of all, it's really easy, and it's a spell jar. So use, I mean, we'll get into it a little bit more, but you can use any size jar you want, but it could be something super tiny that you can just keep in your purse or keep on your altar. Regardless, we're honing in on this energy of peace, taking care of ourselves, prioritizing ourselves, making ourselves our priority, and never forgetting to check back in with you and see how it is that you're doing. Our tarot message is the Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. We're all grounded here. So this shows you are on the edge and the verge of taking care of yourself. You're just getting to the point where you're learning how to do this. The season of Mabon and this autumn equinox really wants you to take time for you, reflect on what it is that you've been neglecting when it comes to self, and how can you take care of yourself? How can you really anchor this in? So this shows that we're journeying through that and we're learning. And then once we get there, we're planting that seed. Okay. So how does this look? What does self-care look like? Well, obviously it looks different for everybody, but very generally, very quickly speaking, that could be exercising. Maybe you've been sitting a little bit too long and you need to just go for a walk. For those of you on the East Coast, up north like me, the weather is about to change quickly, and get in those last minute walks. And you know what, when it gets breezy, put a hoodie on and go for a walk. Whatever the case may be, taking care of yourself in taking those meditative walks. Maybe you don't like sitting down and doing meditation, but meditative walks are a way to do it. Meditative showers. Maybe it's time for a bubble bath. Buy a bath bomb, take a bath. It's time to really tap into you and ask yourself, how can I bring more peace? How can I get more grounded? Also getting root chakra, root vegetables, yeah, all the things that have to do with the harvest. We're talking pumpkins, we're talking carrots, all the cozy things, onions, these things. It's time to eat these things, get yourself grounded. Do those things to get yourself grounded. And also, the Knight of Swords is a very fast-paced energy. But what I'm getting with this one is going at your own pace. I see this knight as he's journeying alone on his horse, and he's going at his leisure. And the thing is, what it is he really wants to get there. But with these cards, they're reminding him to slow down a little bit. Take the time, slow down, and you'll get a lot more done in that way. So is it realistic to take a bubble bath every day? No. Is it realistic to maybe go to the gym every day? No. But showing yourself that grace and tapping into those little by little to make these small habits into big changes later. Okay? So that's really all I have to say. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video and follow along. I'll see you next time. The first thing we're going to do is cleanse our candle. I made this smudge wand here. It's made from garden sage, rosemary, and a little bit of lavender. You don't have to necessarily use a smudging wand you made yourself or sage. Just choose whatever method you normally use. And if you don't have one, you could start with sage, you can use Palo Santo, you can even light an incense and use that smoke. Next thing we're going to do is dress our candle. You can choose any color you want. I chose white, but if you want to go with the Mabon colors, You can certainly do yellow, red, or orange. Next, I'm using a Mabon blend that I created. I chose to use rosemary, cinnamon, and sage. The oil that I'm using is a coconut fractionated oil, but again, feel free to use whatever you have in your pantry. That could be olive oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, whatever you have on hand. Here I'm just breaking up the herbs just a little bit tinier. Intuitively, I chose to use catnip and St. John's wort to trust the candle. There's really no big method here. You're just going to gently push the candle into the herbs just to make sure it gets on there. You shouldn't have any issues as long as you make sure to use the oil first. When I was trying to decide which herbs to use, I decided to use my intuition. That led me to the most beautiful blend of catnip and St. John's wort. When combined, these herbs create balance between moon and sun energies. Soft, receptive catnip energy with bright, protective solar force from St. John's wort, emotional balance, protection, love, and joy with safety. And safety, foundation, all the things that correlate to September along with Virgo season. You may have leftover herbs from the candle, so just put it in a small dish and you can add it to your altar. Next, we're going to be dressing the altar. What I always do when it's time to refresh is exactly this here. I remove everything from the altar, then I smudge it, setting intention for the new season. I then put a few dots of Florida water and wipe it down with a cloth, again holding the intention of Mabon and all the things and correspondences that go along with the season. Next, this is the fun part. You really can do your heart's desire. The key thing to remember here is going with the colors that represent the season and honoring Mabon in that way. So there's a lot of gold and yellow, orange, earthy colors. So I have some dried flowers here, some dried roses that I'm using as the center. There is our dressed candle that we just did. Here on the right, there's some tea candles and some crystals. The tiny ones are mushroom crystals, a little hard to tell. There's a gold candle to represent the color, also the calendula in the bottle. Cinnamon to represent September, also my theme in the Patreon group. You can learn all about cinnamon in Patreon. There is my incense holder, the Empress card to represent the season, a spoon to represent nourishment. There's a selenite crystal there as well, and tiger's eye. Also, I decided on keeping the theme as 3. Initially, I just had a couple things in front of me, and I decided I'm feeling 3. So there are 3 tea candles, 3 mushroom crystals, and 3 regular crystals there. This is a cone incense. The scent is musk, which I think is a perfect transition scent from summer to fall. So here's the final product. Yours is going to look different. Everyone's is going to look different. What I like to do for my altar, aside from using colors of the season, is really honor all of the elements: water, earth, air, fire, and spirit. Next, we're going to work on our grounding spell jar. Here's a list of supplies. What's not shown in the video, and I want to make very important note of, is that you need to be calm, cool, and collected before you start doing this. So a quick 5-minute meditation, both feet flat on the floor, closing your eyes, and meditate just for a little while, taking calm, deep breaths. Once we're nice and calm, we're going to cleanse the jar. I chose to use an incense because it gets in the jar very nicely, which you're going to see in a few minutes. Next, you're going to grab a tea candle and you're going to light it, or any candle that you have on hand. You can choose to use white or any of the other Mabon colors, such as orange, red, yellow. And this is what we're going to use to seal the jar at the end. Here's our jar. There's multiple ones. I happen to have ones with metal lids, but there are other ones with little cork lids. So whatever you have, use that. On a small piece of paper, you're going to write a grounding affirmation. So some examples are, I am rooted deeply like a strong tree. I am safe and supported by the earth. With every breath, I feel more centered, calm, and present. I am anchored in peace, no matter what happens around me. My energy flows steadily and harmoniously. I honor my physical being and nurture it with care. Feel free to use any of those or choose one that you feel suits you best. Next, we're going to fold the paper up really small and we're going to place that to the side. We're going to grab our dirt. We're going to slowly start filling the jar. Just a little bit. Then we're going to place that paper with our affirmation right on top. And we're going to keep adding dirt. That way we can properly bury the paper. Next, you want to gently push down on the dirt. It doesn't have to be super packed in, but just a gentle push. We're going to save a little room at the top. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon right over top there. Cinnamon is, again, part of our theme for September, but it also helps the speed of spells work. So it speeds it up, makes it come to fruition a little faster. Right on top of that cinnamon, we're going to put a little bit more dirt. Feel free to choose any grounding crystal that resonates with you. I chose to use a milky quartz, and this one has iron oxide. The properties for this are obviously grounding, but it also amplifies energy, brings clarity, and stabilizes emotions. Next, we are going to seal the jar off. First, by placing whatever lid you have. In this case, mine is metal. So we're going to add the wax next. Before you add the wax on, you want to make sure that you're pouring on a surface where the wax is easily removed, because it does get a little messy here. What's not shown here is activating the jar. It's really easy. All you have to do is hold the jar in your hands or one hand, and you want to visualize magic flowing from your hands to the jar. After a few seconds or a minute, you can sit with it however long you see fit. And next, you want to add your spell jar to your altar. For our final Mabon celebration, we're going to make this nourishing pumpkin spice smoothie. I'm sure most of you have made a smoothie before, but there's going to be the exact ingredients and instructions on how to set intentions and how to bring the magic of the ingredients into your day. I hope you enjoy.